Most business owners just repost the exact same thing to every social media platform and hope for the best. And that's a terrible strategy. So I want to break down in this video every single social media platform that you should consider using, how to actually use it, who's on it, common mistakes people make with it, and give you a case study on each platform of someone doing it really well. So let's start with the most popular, Instagram. So what's Instagram about? Well, it's really about connecting with people on a personal level. Instagram is a place where people go to know, like, and trust you. And it's also a place to show that you're busy without bragging. Now, even when I say that, I think about all the people that do brag, but you see my point. Now, the number one mistake real estate agents make on Instagram is posting too many listings. Your Instagram is not an MLS feed. And this goes for any business. Your Instagram is not for just static images of blah. So here's an example of someone doing it wrong. It's just all listings, it's all generic stuff, and what this tells me is you're lazy and you're not willing to learn what people actually want on the platform, and that's why you're not growing. So before I get into how to do this right, let's look at who's actually on the platform. Well, Instagram, as you probably guessed, skews a little bit younger, quite a bit younger than Facebook, in fact. So the main demographic on Instagram is 18 to 35-year-olds, which probably won't surprise you. And how you properly use Instagram is to nurture your audience. It's not the best, I think, lead generation platform. One of my clients said this the best. YouTube is how she generates new eyeballs, and Instagram is where she converts them, because Instagram's how you show off your personality, who you are, your day-to-day life. It's an attempt to build a connection with people so that they can know, like, and trust you, and you can actually convert them and work with them into a client, and for them to follow your journey and stay top of mind about you. It's about showing off your individuality, your personality, showing people behind the scenes of who you are as a person and not just a business, to create that connection with you. So here's an example of someone doing that well. Utah Real Estate Paige. Now, what she does is has a really healthy mix of showing behind the scenes her personality and who she is, alongside informational content around real estate. And it's combining those two things and not just doing all one and none of the other. You're a valued resource in your niche, but also show them a little bit of your personality and who you are. That's how you're gonna win at Instagram and create those genuine connections. And I guarantee you, anyone you look at who's doing Instagram well is doing these things. So if that doesn't fit your personality, if that's not who you are, then you shouldn't be really hyper-focused on Instagram. I'll tell you honestly right now that Instagram doesn't really fit my personality. That's why you won't see me have a huge presence on Instagram, because I don't like doing those daily updates. It doesn't fit who I am. I tend to resonate a lot more with YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, where we can engage in conversations and provide informational value, which leads me to the second platform, which is Facebook. Obviously, Facebook is both owned by Meta, just like Instagram, but it's fundamentally very, very different of how you want to use it. So if I can summarize this for you, Facebook is about having conversations. That's it. It's about having groups of people grouped together. Facebook is really big on groups, as we all know now. It was a big priority for them. Getting people together in groups around a common interest and starting conversations. That's what Facebook is about. It's all about conversations. So here's the big problem I see real estate agents making with Facebook. They're spamming their listings into groups, just hoping for more reach. Super lazy, super annoying, don't do that. You're thinking you can just take a listing and put it anywhere, and that's a good strategy. It's not, because you're doing this at the sacrifice of making thoughtful content. And you're way too focused on selling rather than starting a conversation, which is what Facebook is all about, is starting conversations and engaging with people. It's not about spamming your listings that get 20 people who view it and just skim over it and whatever. That's not what it's about. Find groups that are relevant to you. Start conversations in those groups. That's how you use Facebook properly, or start conversations just with your general friend group about something that's relevant to them. I encourage you to go on my Facebook and look at all of the huge conversations I've started, because I know how to now. It's about getting people to comment, and when they do comment, commenting back and getting them to comment again. It's about starting a trail of conversations. That's how you're going to explode your reach on Facebook and actually get people engaging with you and getting your content more reach. And groups are a great way to do that, because a lot of people in that group are already interested in that certain subject. So it's easier to start conversations. So who's actually on Facebook? Well, there's 2.11 billion active users on Facebook, which is crazy huge. I don't think it's going to be the biggest social media platform for long, but it still is. YouTube is set to surpass it very soon, but it can still reach 34% of the global population over the age of 13. Now, that's pretty cool, but Facebook's demographic these days is going to skew a little bit older than Instagram. It's going to be more in that 25 to 55 range. If you're about my age in your 30s and you have parents, that parents, that's kind of their default platform these days. So it does skew quite a bit older these days as opposed to TikTok and Instagram and the other platforms that younger people tend to use. Which leads me to the third platform, which is TikTok. So what is TikTok all about? Well, it's a quick, punchy, entertaining platform that is all about quick dopamine hits. It's basically a drug, but it's not for everyone, and that's really important. Making good TikToks takes a very intentional effort to hook people in that 1 second that you have to really do that. And if that doesn't fit your personality style, I don't recommend investing too much time in TikTok. Note that your audience is going to be super young, generally speaking, but that doesn't mean it can't work for your real estate business. It can. However, I think it's really important to understand you need to be fully committed to making a TikTok channel if you want it to succeed. It's not something you just do casually because it's really hard, and I can tell you that from experience. I've made some pretty good videos on TikTok that have gone somewhere, but it's not something that's been a huge focus for us. We've always got more out of the long form, but you have to be willing to learn the short form strategy because it is its own individual strategy. And this is my big philosophy, is it's better to do no TikTok than to do it half-assed, because if you're doing something half-assed, you're just going to look bad and not get anywhere. It's better to invest in 1 or 2 social platforms, be really good at them, than trying to do them all and just being half-assed at all of them. Which brings me to the number 1 mistake that agents are making with TikTok, which is they're doing it half-assed and they're not actually investing all the way. And despite the stereotypes of TikTok, you do not have to dance to make a good TikTok channel. You just have to offer some value and learn how to really hook people in and steal their attention from the ocean of other addictive videos on the platform. So how do you properly use TikTok? Well, you have to be willing to entertain your audience and hook them in, as I said. The content is very timely as well, so you have to be willing to keep up with trends and try to catch the waves of the algorithm, which are always changing. So TikTok takes a lot of research. It takes a lot of using the platform yourself. It takes following these trends and catching them and making content quickly when those topics are trendy. And this is probably more the case for TikTok than any other platform. It's really about creating trendy content that's going to catch the algorithm when it's hot. Like education can be good on TikTok, but it can't just be education. It has to have some kind of entertaining angle, because that's generally why people go to TikTok, is to be entertained, not so much to learn like as they go to YouTube. So it's all about quick and punchy with TikTok, and it's important to understand that that's how it started and that's how it is today. And it's a real skill to develop that, I can promise you, from going through this path myself. So a couple examples of people who are doing really well on TikTok is Salerno Real Estate, Texas Tattooed Realtor. We have case studies of these on our website. You can go check them out. But they're ones who are doing TikTok well, but you'll see how much effort it takes to do TikTok well just by looking at them. And that's why we don't recommend it to everyone. If you're younger and this is your style, you really want to invest in TikTok, you're going to be one of few. There's a big opportunity there. There is. Like if I was to fly back home and go back into real estate, I would triple down on TikTok and YouTube. That would be my primary thing. And so I just say that because I know that I can do this. I'm already good at YouTube. I'm almost there with TikTok. And if I put all my energy into those platforms, that's what I would do personally. But it takes a very concerted effort to become good at short and long form, and they're 2 very different skill sets. Which brings me to my absolute favorite platform, which is YouTube. Now, YouTube is how I built my business from the ground up. It's something I resonate with a lot. I often spend my free time watching YouTube, making YouTube videos just like I am right now. And so what is YouTube about? Well, YouTube is about education first. That is the biggest thing you need to understand about YouTube is a place people go to learn and to consume long form content. It is also a great place to generate leads. And what I mean by that is you're generating new eyeballs through YouTube search. So people are looking to learn how to run Google Ads. You search Google Ads for real estate, you'll find my videos, and then I'll teach you how to run Google Ads, for example. So people go to YouTube to generally learn something and to consume long form content. And that's a great way to generate new eyeballs because it's a search-based platform. People are going to search for topics, you're going to come up, they're going to find out about you, they're going to learn from you, and that's how you generate new eyeballs and new leads. And so here's some common mistakes our clients, realtors, make on YouTube. Number 1 is making unpersonalized listing videos. And what I mean by this is they just take whatever their videographer gave them about their listing and they post it on YouTube. Instead, what you want to do is you want to make an intro and an outro and talk through the video so people can get to know you. And you can sell yourself as someone who's marketing this property really well. You can add call to actions in your video. You can say, hey guys, if you want to see this property in person, make sure to reach out to me. All my contact information is in the description below. But without further ado, let's go tour this beautiful home. And make it about the property, but also be involved in the process. It's really lazy to do it the way where you just take whatever your videographer gave you and put that up on YouTube. The second mistake people make with YouTube is not making content people are searching for. So you need to use tools like Answer the Public and other things to actually find search volume of different things and making your titles relevant to that search term and making your content relevant to that search term. So you need to focus on things that people are actually searching for. Like, what's it like to live in Austin, Texas? That's something people search for in every city when they're thinking of moving there. And it's a great place to have your video because if they watch your video first, then you're their first point of contact who's teaching them about what it's like to live in your city. So make content people are actually searching for. And the third mistake I see a lot of my clients make with YouTube is they don't give themselves permission to go deep enough. This is really important. They'll say, here's the 10 pros and 10 cons of living in Seattle, Washington, and they'll just skim over things really quick because they have a short form content mindset. YouTube is a long form content and you need to give yourself permission to go really deep on the subject. So if you're gonna do 10 pros and 10 cons, go really deep, give examples, give data, like back what you say up, make a 25-minute long video. If someone's moving to Seattle from somewhere else in the country, they're willing to watch a 25-minute video. They're gonna spend way more time than 25 minutes researching that city. And you need to be the one who's gonna deliver them the most valuable information, hands down. Because if you just go shallow, they're gonna go looking for someone else. You need to make an impact on them by showing your deep knowledge of that place. So with YouTube, give yourself permission to go really deep. With TikTok, be super surface level, super shallow. It's about short form content. Now, even with TikTok though, if you're focused on one topic, you should go a little bit deep, but just keep it concise. YouTube's the place where you can be really long form about it, and it's really important to understand that. The fourth mistake I see our clients make on YouTube is they do really generic market updates. Instead of doing a market update September 2023, do a what $1 million gets you in Austin, Texas today, and go through 3 different price points in Austin, work in whether it's a buyer's or seller's market, work in some of the market statistics, but make it a little more interesting than that. Because at the end of the day, what do people care about? What am I gonna sell my home for? And what can I buy a home for? What are the interest rates like? What are my payments gonna be? That's all people really care about. So make it about that first and make it something people will click on. People don't click on just general market updates where you're reading a stats sheet. That's not how you're gonna retain your audience on YouTube and get your videos ranking. You need to hook people in, make the content interesting and relevant to the viewer, and be posting about things that are searchable. So a couple channels you can follow of people who are doing real estate YouTube channels really well: Mark McDonough in Sacramento, Jennifer Gramling in Nashville, Tom Story in Toronto. There's a lot of great examples of people you can follow on YouTube who are doing really, really well in the real estate industry, and take some things from what they're doing. Like what I always say is find 1 or 2 channels you really resonate with, you really like, reverse engineer why they were successful and start recreating some of that in your market. It's one of the greatest ways you can just grow a YouTube channel is by a little bit of R&D.